We're up at St Joseph's College out in their picturesque grounds, and joining me is the Student Leadership Coordinator here at St Joseph's College in our great city of Geelong, Mr Simon Carr. How are you, Simon?
Very good, thanks, Graham. Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank
Now, Simon, Student Leadership Coordinator. For our viewers, what role is that in this great college?
It's been a role that has been building for quite some years, and what we're trying to do is allow the students to take more responsibility in their school. They're as big a stakeholder, I suppose, as the teachers and the staff and the parents are.
And is it only applicable to senior levels of the school, or is it all levels?
Was originally, or mostly, the senior levels, but we've now implemented Monica Okoli, and she's been driving the junior levels, so it's been building gradually and steadily and becoming a very powerful force.
Now, your connection and what we're leading to is you've recently had a trip to what we refer to as East Timor. You refer to as Timor. How was that experience?
It was challenging, exciting, and very rewarding and educational.
And I understand we've got 4 basic cultures over there, led by English.
It's in a transitional stage. They spent about 400 years under the Portuguese. They've had a period of time with the Indonesians. They are traditional Tetum speakers, but within the Tetum there is also many dialects that live in the hills. And Tetum being an oral language, it's it doesn't translate easily. And of course, the international language of English for business is also getting a leg up as well.
The purpose of building up the connection between St Joseph's College and Timor?
Last year we ran a concert called Triumph Festival with the 3 Catholic schools, Clonard and Sacred Heart, and we had 4,000 students here and about 8 signed bands. And we raised $43,000, and the students ran the entire day from top to bottom, and the feeding of the masses, and they designated East Timor as the place where they would deposit the money. And my role the previous 3 weeks in East Timor was to establish a recipient in East Timor and exactly how we would follow that through.
What are the conditions like over there in some small manner for us to get some awareness of the difficulties that the East Timorese are facing up against?
I've spent a little bit of time in Kenya, Tanzania, and on the UN criteria, it's actually poorer than sub-Saharan Africa. And when I stepped foot into Dili, my breath was taken back because I realised what on earth I'd stepped into. There's a handful of ATMs, 3 that I found, 1 more in Bacau, and that was about it for the entire country. So water was scarce, food was scarce, hotels were scarce, restaurants were scarce. You step outside Dili and you had to make sure you carried your own water and your own food, because unless you hit a market day, you could be in strife. So very poor, to say the least.
So the thrust of the program is, and like programs like it generated through St Joseph's College, is to build up relationships and improve things that we take for granted, like education.
Education's a really big factor for East Timor, because without it, they are going to struggle on the international front. They've never been a rich country, and if they do not find themselves in a position where they can actually earn an income, a living, and education is one of those biggest areas, then they will become still and forever will be a very poor peasant community. So yeah, education is an area where St Joseph's can help, and we'll be aiming, once it's been ratified, we hope, the Vikeki region.
Now, part of the process now is that you have returned. You were explaining to me earlier, you put in a report, and what generates from there on?
The report will be written. It's going to be ratified by the Triumph Committee, the original students, because they organised it and designated East Timor, and primary education was their thrust. And we will now need the okay from the principals, and we'll be checking with the council, Geelong Council, because they also have a relationship with Vikeki. and hopefully we'll be able to have an ongoing relationship which will be bigger, stronger and more meaningful for both Geelong and the Vikeki villages.
And that will continually mean that on the positive side of the acceptance of all of those steps, that St Joseph's College and the City of Geelong will have a continued presence in helping continue to develop the areas of East Timor and Timor we're speaking of.
We're hoping that these sorts of interviews and this sort of information gets out into the community, and one of the biggest ways I believe that we can actually further our relationship is via students, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to build on that very mode, and we'll be able to take students across and allow them to help build physically and get real experience and have a cultural change both here in Australia and also in East Timor.
We know that there is work currently being undertaken by certain Australian organisations, including people involved from the St Joseph's College, like former Principal Pt2 and his wife Tricia, and others around Geelong. Are we making progress in achieving things?
I think we're making fantastic progress. I was singly impressed with what has been the progress that's been made in Vikeki, especially when you travel to some of the poorer regions, and Vikeki is very poor, but places like Ralako, Morbisi, and you really see what the Vikeki Geelong Schools Association has been able to achieve already in a short time, and I think the scope is fantastic. It's about getting the community behind it, and not only behind it, but understanding what their position is.
In a lot of cases like this, we always say it's a two-way deal. Are the East Timorese responding as positively as what we are pushing forward?
The East Timorese, if you remember that there would be hardly a Timorese person that has not seen some form of atrocity, somebody being maimed, killed, macheted. They are very much a damaged people. They are reticent to speak about their past, but they are overall very warm towards Australians, and they are very happy to have us there, present, helping, and have been willing participants in everything that we've brought with us.
And it's not just the physical side of like building schools and the like, but it's also the psychological avenues of being able to talk and pass on our knowledge and our awareness of their plights.
There's a Vikeki Friendship House, which Christian College has been very generous and has been fantastic in building and providing, and that is just exactly what it is. It doesn't provide a great deal except for the word friendship. It has the sign out the front, and their main thrust is about friendship between two communities, international communities, and everything that a friendship means between you, me, and anybody else in the world.
The word friendship means a lot, and Simon Carr, thank you very much for your time, and we hope that you out there in viewing land can take notice and be involved if you have the opportunity, because it is a great and continued cause on behalf of our great country of Australia.